Hello. Hello, how are you? Hope you guys are doing well. I've got my pen here. I'm ready to go. Thanks for meeting us on this Thursday Night Live. It's a little bit early. I know it's just a one-off. Adam has to work late tonight, so we're doing this early. So I hope everyone's having a great Thursday. We are going to be heading into the weekend, which will be nice. And so, yeah, and happy Juneteenth. It's kind of late for Juneteenth, but happy Juneteenth. So if you're new, I just answer political current event questions for peoples, and usually they're gathered beforehand through email. So if you want to add a question next time, that's how you do it. Just send me an email and I'll send it off to Adam. And you can also put your questions in the chat. And if we get done with all of our questions, then we'll go to the chat and ask and get questions pull from the chat. And at the end, I do name checking. And that's when I say your name and thank you personally for coming and hanging out. So if you want to hang around for that, you can. All right, Adam. So I think we're ready to begin. But thanks for showing up. Thanks for showing up early. Yay. Okay, is Trump actually going to show up for his first debate? I've kind of gone back and forth. Let's see where he is right now, because I've kind of gone back and forth with this, and it could be that his energy too, kind of going back and forth, thinking, oh yeah, I can do this, and then thinking, oh wait, I better not. Okay, so let me see. So I'm seeing him pacing and having the energy of pacing. So he's worried, and nervous, and not sure if it's the best thing to do. And I feel like as we get closer, he's more hesitant and feels like, and I feel like the people around him are telling him to do it, that he needs to do it, that he should do it. But he's very hesitant. He's not confident. He's not confident in what he's doing. He's also worried about the rules that he agreed to. So he's worried about the rules, and that they may hinder him or make things harder for him. And he's worried about treading that line between his base and trying to seem normal to just regular people. He's worried about making his base angry. But if he doesn't appease his base, if he appeases his base, he's going to seem weird to the rest of the. He's aware of this. It's not like he doesn't know. So he's worried about being able to tread that line and not lose his own base. He doesn't want to. That's who he cares about most. They're the ones that go to his rallies and send him money and cheer him. So he is most worried about them and keeping them in good favor with them. So I feel like there still is a possibility that he could back out last minute because he doesn't want to do this. He is really unsure if it's the right thing to do. And he felt when he didn't debate in the primaries, he felt very superior, and so he doesn't like the idea of having to actually get in the ring and prove himself again. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to act like he's above it all, or that he doesn't need to do this, but he does. He does need to do this. And so I feel like and I also feel like the practices have been really bad. So and to me, it kind of feels like he's losing his train of thought, or losing his, getting annoyed, losing his temper. And so I feel like they have gone very badly. And so I feel like you may hear him say the same things over and over again, because I feel like they're going to give him a few main talking points and like, just say this. If you can't think of anything, just say this. So you might hear him repeat and repeat and repeat whatever line they give him to repeat, oh, Sleepy Joe, or whatever, whatever nonsense they're going to have him repeat. But I feel like that's kind of the tactic, or the safety that they're putting in place, because he can't keep his train of thought clear. He can't keep it on one track. He keeps veering off, and it's making his team very nervous, and it's making him angry. So, because it's never his fault. So it's got to be someone else's fault. So, but it's making him, so he's very nervous and very worried, and he really doesn't want to do this. So I say there's still a chance he could back out, but it looks like feels like his team feels like he has to go through with this. He's got to do it. So that's where we are. I hope that answered that question. At least we got to peek into his energy, right? How will Biden do at the debate? Right-wing media is already talking up his supposed drug cocktail. And it's so ridiculous, right? It's like, stick with one thing or the other thing. Either he's the drugged out mastermind, or he is a sleepy, whatever, memory deficient, old geezer. He's one or the other. It cannot be both. So pick one, pick a lane and stay there. So it's so funny. It's ridiculous. So how is Biden going to do? Let me see how he feels in general. I feel like he's got some zingers ready. He's got some things ready to about to say, or to bring up, or to bounce back. And I feel like the preparations have been really, really intense. And I feel like they're really trying to prepare him for the absolute worst thing that he could say, the worst thing he could do. So they're showing like a courtroom. So I feel like they're almost preparing him like they would a witness, like somebody that's going in, that might be, attacked by the other side and that kind of thing. So I don't know why that's coming up, but it may be because they'll talk about court or but I feel like he's got comebacks ready. He's ready. And they've really his team has been very aggressive. So he's not going to be thrown by anything. His team's also very aware and awake to what right-wing media is saying. And they say the same kind of stuff over and over again. So I feel like they're very prepared with what he will probably say, what he will probably do. I feel like they've got a good pulse on where this may go. And Trump can be unpredictable, right? He can be just crazy. But I feel like they've put him through intense, mock debates, and that he's got some good lines ready, and he's going to be really well prepared. You also have to remember too that, although Trump does his rallies, whatever his right-wing rallies, they really depend on the crowd clapping at everything he says, even though he says it 10 times. And it's very dependent upon that crowd being with him. There's not going to be any noise. There's going to be nothing happening. And he's not going to have a teleprompter. It's going to be very, and with Biden, he's been president for 4 years. So he's had to speak in front of everybody and kind of be out and about and be at fundraisers and in places where he's had to kind of prove himself and not have a cheering crowd, laugh and giggle at everything he says. He hasn't had that. So he's a little more seasoned right now. So that's where we stand. So Biden feels like he's been well prepared and he's confident. So I believe that tells us he will do well. He also has a few good comebacks that are going to be kind of putting him in his place when it comes to some of these, things the right wing likes to talk about China or about, Hunter or whatever. So he is prepared. Okay. Two federal judges apparently asked Judge Eileen Cannon to step down from the Trump case when she was first assigned, but she rejected the request. Can you look at why she wanted the case? Sure. She was eyeing the Supreme Court. So there is something, either someone's told her this, or she believes that if she handles this correctly, that she could be on the Supreme Court the next time around. That's ridiculous. But I feel like whenever I step into her energy, she seems very odd. I just will say that. She seems like she seems odd to me. I don't think it's been and this is all for entertainment purposes only. The whole video is entertainment purposes only. It doesn't feel like to me someone promised her this. It's something that she thinks, or that has maybe been thrown out there as a possibility, that kind of thing. So I feel like that's part of it, is like some kind of reward for a job well done. But she's also a believer in this stuff, this right-wing stuff that's out there. She believes in, lowering the taxes for all the rich people. And she believes, about, kind of going back to a more Christian valued nation, and she believes all this stuff. So she's on board. And to me, she seems a little bit like, what's his name? Clarence Thomas's wife, in Ginny Thomas, in that she's a true believer and she's kind of weird. That's how she comes across. I just will, be blunt, but that is what it seems like. She is, she just, and she also comes across as a ladder puller, that phrase, which I love, which is that she used all of the things that she could to get where she is, but she doesn't want other minorities to have that advantage. A little bit like Clarence Thomas, I got where you need to figure out your own thing. I got where I am. So, she's so a little bit, yeah. That's the way she comes across to me. At least her energy does, So that's what I got. Okay, can you ask your guide specifically whether Eileen Cannon will ever be a SCOTUS? Well, we just talked about that, right? So it's definitely, been thrown out there, or she believes it or something. So it doesn't seem like an actual deal, but it feels like it's kind of like, you play your cards right, you could end up on the Supreme Court kind of thing. No, I don't see it. I just don't. I feel like she might even get, because I get a feeling of like going down. And so I wonder if she'll get demoted or go to a lower level court, or I don't know, who knows, lose her law license. I mean, it could be in any number of things when it comes to, people that get involved with Trump. But no. And I feel like history will not be kind to her. Let's just put it that way. I feel like it's going to be a kind of a rough road that way. So no, I don't see it at all. Yeah, maybe disbar James Cox, maybe. It just feels like stepping down like that. Canada is holding hearings Friday and next Monday on Trump's classified documents case. Will anything positive come out of these hearings for Jack Smith? Okay. Yeah, there might be a couple of good things that come out of it. It kind of feels like because I feel like she's kind of like my hands are tied. Like there's a few things that she can't do. Like she just can't do, that I feel like will kind of fall into his favor or be in his favor. It could even be tiny things. It can be like just little, I object and, whatever. But it feels like there's like a couple of things that it's like her hands are tied. She can't do what Trump's team would want her to do. It's kind of like, I can't. So, okay. So yeah, there's a couple of things. I'm feeling a couple of things. I don't think she'll dismiss the case. No, I don't think she will. I think there'd be a problem with that. If then maybe that's it. Maybe she can't dismiss it. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Louisiana has signed a law placing the 10 Commandments in Louisiana schools. Will this law be overturned? Also, do they realize Trump broke all the commandments? I know. It's just so. And that's part of it, right? You guys, it's part of it is to make us disgusted, make us feel like unheard, make us feel like what we think doesn't matter, to discourage us, that's what this is all for. It's to make us feel outnumbered, and we know we're not. So we're not going to fall for it. But that's what this stuff is about. Okay, so let me see. So I'm seeing them putting them up and then taking them down. So at some point, they're going to have to take them down. So something happens. It's weird because it almost feels like next year. It doesn't really feel like it's this year. It feels further away, but I'm seeing them putting them up and then taking them down. So there's something that's going to happen with that. Yeah. It's short-lived. How many Americans are truly MAGA? Trump and his enablers are always calling all Americans MAGA, but is it actually a minority of people? Okay, so I'm going to ask. Okay, yeah, I'll see what it is. I keep getting the number 33, so I think it's about 33%. I always think it's like 22. That's what I always think it is, but I'm getting the number 33. And so, and it's not, and to me, that's not I don't feel like all those people like actually vote. I feel like they just call themselves that, right? How many Americans are truly MAGA? People that just call themselves that. 'Cause I feel some of them are even like, not they don't believe in voting, but they're kind of like they're not even like they're not into that part of it. The actual like doing stuff part. So I'm getting about 33%. Exactly. So James is putting in perspective, right? 33% of the GOP, correctly, only about 23% of all. Yeah, it's small, really. But that's what I'm getting. So yeah, 33% of yeah, Republicans. Not even like the whole electorate. It's just Republicans. Yeah. So it is a minority. And yes, of course they say it's everybody because they want us to feel outnumbered. We know we're not. Will Hunter Biden be pardoned eventually? Perhaps not by his father. Will he go to actual jail? I'm hearing commuted, so they might have a commuted sentence. I actually do feel like he might end up with it feels like probation, but maybe there'll be some like if it's jail time, it would be really short. Um, yeah, I'm not getting like an out and out pardon. I'm not getting that. So I'll just leave that there, but that's not really what. But I did hear commuted, so there might be something about commuting it or something. Yeah. A majority of Republicans are in favor of cutting Social Security. Will a future Congress prevent reductions to Social Security? I'm not getting cuts. I'm actually feeling like they may drop the age too at some point. 2026, that the age might get a little bit lower. I feel like it has something to do with jobs. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. Okay, that was a quick one. Okay, Deb asked whether you see any health event for Trump that would stop him from being elected or prosecuted for that matter. I did feel like there was something around the end of July, early August that may take place that might be uh, either just a health issue or a health scare or something like that. I think we've talked about before. His health is not good. It's not good. But I feel like there may be something kind of in later summer, late July, early August, something like that. So that's what I'm getting. I'm going to just kind of stick with that because that's what I keep feeling and that's what I keep getting. Whether it will stop him, I'm not sure. But it does feel significant. So I'll just kind of leave it at that. That's what it feels like. In a previous video, you got the number 78 and the date December 14th. Do you get anything new on that? I talked about before, I think I was on Debbie's channel last Friday, and I had said I always felt and got 78 for Trump, so that would be a significant age for him. It could also mean, it doesn't necessarily mean a passing. It can also mean like a major health decline or something that kind of is more, or is just more incapacitating. So you have to kind of like retire or whatever. But 78 seemed was very upfront for me. And then December 14th, that came about because I was asking the question when we wouldn't have to worry about him anymore. And I got the date December 14th. And I feel like I think that was early in the year. And so to me, that meant this year. I guess it could be next year, but I think it's this year. But yeah, I got the actual date December 14th. So that's what's going on. If I'll give you a scenario, and say he loses the election, he sticks around for a while to see if he can fight it. He's not going to be able to, and so he leaves the country, and he doesn't come back. Something like that could also happen. So that is a scenario that could also happen. That doesn't have anything to do with passing away. It could just mean he's no longer a problem for the U.S. He's no longer, viable to be president or anything else. He's gone. And that was the specific question I was asking, was when is he going to be like out of our hair, basically, or not a problem anymore? And that was the date that came up. So, and all of these things, they can change, they can be different, but I keep getting these things. So I just keep checking, and that's all you can really do as a reader. Just keep checking. But right now I'm feeling the same thing that I felt before. So yeah. Yeah, Deb Z, like no longer relevant. I think that's another way to put it. Yeah, exactly. He's kind of just, but I could see him just leaving, like I said, I think he would leave the country if it looked like he wasn't running, if he left to do something and he's like, oh no, I'm going to build a hotel, so I'm just going to stay here and they love me here and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he could do that. You know how he is. Things seems to have taken a bad turn for Matt Gaetz. Oh, good. I'll leave be indicted. And radios are people. These people. It's like the same people I'm reading on years later. Although I was looking, and just so you know, I kind of cleaned out my old videos. So a lot of them just don't have relevance, and I didn't want them to pop up for people that are going to the channel or whatever. So if you're looking for a video and you really want to find it or whatever, just let me know and I can send you the private link. But some of them are unlisted just because of that. But when I was looking back on them, so much of the stuff has happened. So much of the stuff has happened. Because I had stuff about, Trump going down in court and having and the whole, like that big trial that was, happening with like the January 6th trial. And a lot of stuff has happened, even though it seems like it's been such a slog. When I looked back, I'm like, wow, we really had a lot of things happen that we were hoping for, so yeah, even though it feels like every day has been hard to every step seemed difficult, but we're getting there. So Matt Gaetz. He's going to be on trial. I'm seeing a trial coming up. So he's going to be on trial. Whether it's I'm not sure if it's like a civil suit, kind of like the Trump thing where it's like he's held liable, that kind of thing, or if it's an actual criminal case. But it feels like court and he loses. So he goes to court for something and he loses for something. So it's not going away. Whatever things that were happening with him, whatever things he did, it's not going away. It's not going away. I feel like they've really, really tried to just like kill it, and it's just not going away. So, I mean, look, E. Jean Carroll, right? That happened in the 90s. So these things can haunt you for a very long time. They can be waiting in the wings for a very long time. Are mainstream Republicans worried about their declining support in the latest elections? Do they realize they're going to lose? Our mainstream, does that mean our mainstream Republicans, are they looking at like their party as a whole, or are they looking at like, do you mean primaries? What does that mean?
I said elections, I meant polls. So the latest polls actually have Biden pulling ahead. And are
okay, got it. So basically about just the Republican Party being like viable at all. You know, it's ridiculous, but it feels like the only people who want Trump gone more than Democrats are Republicans. I feel like they are they feel trapped. They feel trapped. And it's like you're on a sinking ship. That's what it's like, because they can see where this is going and they can see what's happening, and yet they're not able to get people to band together and just get rid of this guy. So it's to me, it just feels very like I'm disgusted. I'm exhausted, exhausted by this guy, and just, almost disbelief that like he's still around and we're still doing this and we're going to keep losing. However, they know their stuff is not popular. So it's this pull between, we just have to do it this way to get in. But at the same time, it's really not working, because we keep getting killed at the ballot box. So, and they do blame Trump. They really do. They really do blame him for all of this. Of course, they can't say it, and maybe they will one day, or they'll all write books later or whatever, but trying to get back in people's good graces. But it really is frustrating, and yet we don't really have an alternative right now, and this is what we have to do. Kind of feeling resigned. That's what it is. It's resigned. Yeah, and Deb Z is saying, instead of realizing their mistakes and admitting them, they double down and they triple down. Yeah, it's kind of like they're stuck. They're in this cycle that they can't get out of, and yet they know, they can see it's not working. It's good, it's not. We're not extremists in this country. We're just not. We're not extreme, definitely not to the left, but we're definitely not extreme to the right. We're just not. We are very much a centrist kind of country, and so it's just isn't popular. The stuff they're doing is just turning people off right and left. So yeah, but they can see it, like mainstream regular Republicans, which is what the question is asking about. And that's what I'm digging into or looking at. They know. But they're kind of resigned to, well, I guess we're here again. I guess we're doing this again. It's not going to, and I feel like they just keep thinking every time we lose, maybe that'll be it. Every time we, like us, every time we lose, maybe that'll be it. Every time they lose, maybe that'll be it. And I feel like mainstream Republicans are thinking the same thing. Is this going to finally be it? And they're kind of in disbelief that they're still in this situation. And it's in a way, it's good that this has gone on so long because it's forcing them to self-reflect. It's forcing them, and they don't like to do that, right? They don't like to look at themselves individually or as a group, but it's forcing them to. So I don't know if it's, I'm saying maybe good is too nice a word, but maybe there's some good that will come out of it, because they seem to start be self-reflecting on what the hell is going wrong, what the hell went wrong. Who do we want to be? What do we want to stand for? They've lost their way. They're too corrupt. There's too much corruption, and they're too much in bed with the, corporations and weird rich people. And it's just gotten very icky, and now they're in the mud. They're in the quicksand, right? And they want to admit they're in quicksand, but they're in the quicksand. But that's what's happening. So, yeah. Following on from this video of Trump returning to the scene of the crime with Congress people this week was disgusting. It was. Did Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz need a shower after meeting Trump? Meeting with Trump. I keep seeing like Lindsey Graham with like white knuckles. I feel like he's barely holding on. I feel like there's something about him that's barely holding on. I feel like Lindsey Graham may be on his way out of Congress, and Ted Cruz, I feel like he has a lot of I feel like this is causing a lot of personal problems for him for some reason. I don't know if it's just with his family or with, I don't know, people he knows or whatever, but I feel like there's a lot of personal unhappiness right now for him. And it's around this. So, but as far as the meeting, let's go to the meeting. It's like this, like knowing this looks bad and knowing this is all bad, but just kind of like, let's just get through it. Let's just get through it. Let's just get through it. And pretending like if we just, if we just act confident and we act like we are glad he's back, everybody will be glad he's back. They're very performative. They've really moved into that. That's all this is anymore. They're always acting and saying and doing things they don't want to act and say and do. And so they just are like, just get through it, just do it, just, and if you act like you love it, people will love it. If you act like you like it, people will like it, that kind of thing. They're performing for the base. They're performing for the base. And I feel like some of them are fine with that. And some of them are really just plowing through, just trying to just get through it. Putting one foot in front of the other. It's the other thing is and somebody mentioned money as well, as the donations they feel like will come from stuff. It's like this is like what we have to do to get paid, that kind of thing too. So there's, yeah, it's all kind of pathetic. I mean, it really is. And we know how things go in life in general when you're not being authentic, when you're not being true to yourself and you're not being your authentic self, you tend to kind of rot from the inside. You know, you can't do it for very long. You know, there are some people where Trump brought their true self out. You know, this is who they are. And this is who they've always been. This is who they are. But there are some people that are completely acting in the opposite way that they would like to be acting. And that's never good. That's never a good thing. So yeah, you know, and Ted Cruz I want to say that both of them won't be around much longer. I don't mean like passing away. I mean, just like in the spotlight much longer. And it may be innocent potato that they, you know, he gets voted out, or they get voted out, or they just decide not to run again, because it kind of feels like their stay is short-lived. At least those two. So. And in a way, that almost makes it worse, right? That they know that it's awful. They know it's terrible. They know it's wrong. And yet they do it anyway, just for a little bit to keep their job, or a little bit more money, or it's pathetic. It's really, really sad. So. How is Judge Merchan doing? His sentencing for Trump is coming up on July 11th. It's like the opposite of the energy that I was just looking at, because he's so sure of himself. He's so sure of where he stands morally. He's so sure of the law. He's so sure. There's a real like quiet confidence about him, and a real like cut through the crap kind of feel to him. There's no ambiguity at all. He is what he is, and he knows exactly, you know, he knows the difference between right and wrong, you know, as he sees it. He knows. I think he feels like he has to give Trump jail time. That's what it feels like. And I feel like the reason is because he has shown no remorse, and he's been so disrespectful and so hostile towards the law, the people around him. He keeps ignoring the gag order. He's been so dismissive of everything. I think he feels as though, and again, right, that confidence of what he knows, he feels it's completely unfair if he doesn't do what he would do with anyone else. At the same time, I feel like he hasn't really, it's not like a desire he wants to just throw him in jail. I feel like he feels like he needs to go big or go home because of the way that Trump has been so contemptuous of this whole process. He's been, held it in such contempt, that he needs to do something. And at the same time, it's like what I would do to anybody else. It's not like just for Trump or just to show the world. It's not that. It's just the way he rules, the way he thinks about the law, the way he thinks about things. And it's like, you can't let people do that. You can't let people like abuse people and abuse witnesses and lie about stuff and just, take over that way. So I feel like he may give him jail time, whether it's Mar-a-Lago or whatever, but it does feel like he may actually give him jail time. So that's new. But whatever he does, he's going to be it's going to be something he is comfortable with. It's not going to do anything he's not comfortable with. He is not that kind of person. He doesn't, he's like the complete opposite. He goes by his own inside, like his own moral compass or his own, beliefs about the laws, that they're very deep. And so he goes with that. He doesn't go with, the flow or pressure or anything else. Will he get another Trump trial prior to the election, or was the New York hush money case the only one? Well, as you know, right out of nowhere, I got that he was going to be convicted in the summer, and he was. So we'll see what else is coming. Yes, I'm sure my guys will tell us. Something else is coming. Televised. There's something that's going to be televised. There's something coming that's going to be televised. And there's a judge there. So I don't know if it's going to be, it's weird because I don't know if it's actually going to be like one of the cases that is here, or if it's something else. It almost feels like it's a side, but I feel like Jack Smith is there. Do you know anything about this, Adam? What this could be? It doesn't feel like one of the things we're looking at right now. It's something else. Maybe like a showing evidence. They're going to show evidence or something. I don't know what this is, but I feel like it's almost like showing everybody the evidence, but it feels different than a trial, though. It doesn't feel quite like, it feels more like the January 6th thing that they did with Congress, but it's not Congress. It's somewhere, it's somebody else. I feel like there's a judge there.
Yeah, there was one thing I was reading, this was several weeks back. One person had said, it was like some expert on this, that a ruling that Judge Cannon had done basically opened up the potential for Jack Smith to basically kind of like do an indictment where he would actually showcase everything, like kind of the pre-trial stuff. So it wouldn't be the actual case going on, but the public would get to see basically the case that he's made. All of the information would be fairly devastating, because everything that Smith got, it's all just the facts. It's, dragnet stuff, right? It's not opinion. It's all like backed up with materials.
Yeah.
The nature of the classified documents that Trump took. And that was it. It was because it's also, well, this is actually, maybe it's a slightly separate thing. His Bedminster estate, that could be separated from Florida.
Okay.
And Cannon wouldn't have any say on that. The only reason why Cannon's even involved in this is because the alleged crime took place in Florida, Magalado.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other one, that there were actually a bunch of documents and materials that were at his Bedminster estate in New York. So that would be a completely different, and it may not get to trial, but he could basically lay out the case.
That's what it feels like. Because it just feels like it is like it to me. I was like, what are they sharing? And I heard evidence. So I feel like it's just like this sharing of all of this stuff, like letting everybody know, because it's televised. To me, I'm seeing it like we're watching it on television. So something's coming.
Well, that would be up to the judge, I think, in the case, whether he televised it or not. Plus, if there are any conventions in that, whether they allow that to happen. But yeah, I think right up to now, all of the documents case has basically been lumped together. But I think that's what the expert was saying now, as I recollect and my brain wakes up, that it could be split off, and Smith might just basically dovetail to like this is the Bedminster, and it's a completely separate case, even though it's connected.
Okay. That's what it feels, because it feels like it's nothing, we're like not anything that's on, like that's in front of us right now. It's like it's kind of like it's off to the side, but it's sharing all this stuff and getting it out to people. So that's what I got. And I see, and I feel like everybody's watching it on TV. So whatever it is, it's on television. So yeah.
Dawn says in the comments, so it's dependent. We've got to wait for the Supreme Court, right, to issue its judgment on the immunity, Trump's immunity, which should be an obvious, like, no, he doesn't have any immunity unless they really turn things upside down. And as soon as that happens, then Smith can file the New Jersey case. Okay. I said New York, I meant New Jersey.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So interesting. Yeah, but that's what I'm getting. So that would be something, it would be something, it would be a win, to at least just get that. And that's always what I pray for. When I pray about this stuff, I always pray for like the truths coming out, for people's eyes to be opened, for people to be enlightened, things like that are more, general and kind of just more positive, because that's really all that needs to happen. We don't necessarily want, anything bad to happen to this person or this person. It's more just people being enlightened and people waking up, and people, because these people are being lied to, and they're in a silo where they're just listening to the same voices over and over again. And I just pray that something breaks through, and they just are enlightened and understand what's going on, and kind of have their eyes opened. It's not impossible. On YouTube, I belong to a channel that's like, it's like, something about like, I'll never vote for Trump again, but it's basically people who voted for him in 16 and 20 and have completely sworn him off. And they have little like testimonies where they talk about, I was completely MAGA, I went to January 6th, or whatever their story is. And it's very hopeful. It's very, very hopeful. If you're interested in it, I can put it in the description, but it makes me feel better, because then I think it's not impossible. It's not impossible for something to break through, or just their somehow it just breaks through. A crazy question. I don't know. Will Florida go blue this election? I think they've been blue before, but I think there is manipulation in both Texas and Florida, because I felt like they've had things where the right people didn't win, and it's because they throw out votes and do things like that. So this election, I'm sure they won't let it. So I feel like that even if it did seem like it was going to go blue, I think it's more purple. But I feel like there's also manipulations going on with, we do our 2-minute kind of 50 state healing on Sundays. There's and you can do it anytime, they're up there. But we did Florida. And one thing that was really apparent was just all of the, for entertainment purposes only, the corruption and stuff at the top. It was so apparent. And the way they kind of manipulate information and things like that. So I just, I don't see it really happening with these people in the places they're in right now. But I think it doesn't mean it won't ever go blue. I think that there is a chance that it will, because I kind of think it almost is. But I'd say will be kind of purple. I think we'll probably see that kind of thing. But I think it will still go red in this next election cycle, unfortunately. But, don't lose hope. Especially if you live there, keep active and keep praying and keep, trying to enlighten people. Noelle asks, is Maryland's Larry Hogan's campaign doomed now that Trump has endorsed him? Oh, because he's kind of moderate, right? Actually, I think he'll be okay. I feel like people know, like, oh God, who cares about that guy? Who cares what that guy says? Because they know he's not really a MAGA person. So I feel like he'll, I think he'll be okay, actually. I actually think he'll make it through. I don't feel like the people that would vote for him anyway don't care about Trump. It doesn't matter to them. So, yeah. It's almost like, who cares what that guy says, that kind of thing. So I think he'll be okay, actually. Even though, I don't think most of his people don't really like Trump, but I think they kind of feel like, whatever, blow hard. Okay, last question. Cindy asks, could anger build up at the RNC convention because 45 is a black hole taking up all the GOP money? Ooh, okay, that's a great question. Let's look at the convention again. Whenever I go into that, it just feels like I was angry and chaotic. Those are the two main feelings I get when I get. Let's look at the money stuff there. There's going to be a fraction of people there that are not Trump people, are going to be completely anti-Trump people. And I think that it may be part of to do with this too. I think it's also that, like we talked about, like Ted Cruz, they don't feel like they can say anything because they're kind of like tied to him. They're just trying to get through the election season. But regular people and delegates and people like that, they're not in that camp at all. They're just, they can say what they want, and they don't like him, and they feel like he is ruining the party. He is taking it down this dark path that nobody wants to go down. So they're going to have some opposition there. They're going to have some skirmishes or something, because it just feels so contentious. But I do feel like the money is part of it. It's like this guy is just draining all our resources, and at the same time not delivering anything for us. So, and it does feel, just like I said, chaos and anger. Those are the feelings that are surrounding the RNC convention, and we'll keep looking at it as it gets closer, because it's going to be upon us. And I'm sure there will be people that are MAGA people that are, whatever, but there's going to be a faction of people that are not with them and are not happy about this, and they're going to be heard. So, yeah. Okay. And I feel like some Republicans are kind of like some Democrats where, oh, thank you, Adam, for tonight. Thank you, everybody. If you're wanting to take off, that's it. I guess that was the last question, but we'll meet again in 2 weeks. But I think there are a lot of Republicans who think something could happen. Maybe he'll go to jail. Maybe he'll drop out. Maybe he'll get sick. I mean, I do think people are holding on to a hope that something could happen before the election. Even Republicans are holding on to that hope, right? And And, manifesting is a thing. So we may all be manifesting together, whether we realize it or not. I think that's even why Trump was, indicted. Things that seemed impossible at one point. He's been indicted. Now he's been found guilty, and now he may be going to jail. So, things are happening in spite of them seeming like they would never happen. And that part of that, I believe, is people's desire to see it. They want to see things. They want to see justice. They want to see things play out a certain way. So they're trying. Hey, Lizanne. Thank you guys so much for coming out and hanging out. And you can go to my website for cards and classes and appointments, and you can go to and for classes, and then hit the join button on any video to join the club. I just did mini readings last night for the club, and it was really fun. So we have a good time. Okay, and now I will say goodnight to you one by one, if you would like. Okay, so Samilia Banko, Paulette Riddle, thanks so much for hanging out. Wild Heart, Ian McGrath, Jane Weininger, I think. Pegasus, Hilda Flores, Susan Bame, Deb Z, Ann Rudd, Paulette Riddle, Carol Chandler, Hilda Flores, Heather J.M., Dawn Broadbent, Melissa Miller, Pegasus, Sandra in Connecticut, Bright Love, thank you so much. Susan Bame, don't want to repeat too much. Sweetie Darling Lulu, Celtic Crone, Becky B.H., aka Rebecca B.H., Kathy, CC, thanks so much, you guys, for hanging out. Ann Rudd, Melissa Miller, Wild Heart, Chris Wickens, Ms. Beachboxer, Emmy J. I'm seeing like new people. I'm seeing our regular family here, and I'm seeing new people. So that's great. Welcome. Dwight Lindgren, James Cox, thank you. And thank you for your comments, James. Heather J.M. D person, Nanette Hardy, Shelly S, Heather J.M., Paulette Riddle. I already said Paulette Riddle. Carol Gallagher. Keep going with the same names. Innocent Potato, what a cute name. John of New, thanks so much. I'm going to have John of New on next month on our Sunday show, so I can't wait to have that happen. He graciously agreed. Iris Blue, Gina Halleck from the club. Welcome, welcome. Patricia Franzino, and thank you guys so much for everybody that was helping moderate and all that stuff. Thank you so much for doing that. You guys are amazing. Alice Wilson, Janice Connett, Deo, Carrie V, Shelly S, Lazan, Jess R, Lily Rose, Abe Hill, Desiree W, Prince Charming's mom. Welcome, welcome. She's in the club too. Azalea Nanette Hardy, Dwight Lindgren. Okay. Chris Queen, Kelly from the club as well. Celtic Crone, Love Peace, Noelle Douglas, Sue F. Sue F is in the club. So is Leslie. Okay, Smiling Heart, Azalea, Shelly S, Cynthia Pierce, you're so welcome, thank you. Sweetie Darling Lulu, Carol Michael, Smiling Heart, Kat M, Michelle Maybell, Ingrid Perez, Samilia Banko, Dan Artist Painter. Hey, how's it going, Dan? Minuet Maya, Carol Lamb, Yvonne B, Sherry Bore, Rebecca Davis, Pauline Anderson, Celia Lelling, or Lelin G. Serona Running Horse, Merle, Wild Heart, LPR, Joanne Sanchez, Kathy Greenlay, Lucretia Valdez, Kat M, PBJ, Craig Dixon, yay! Again, from the club, Fran Baker, Equus 3333 from the club again, and Cheryl Nash McIsaac, and Susan Bain, Fran Baker, Chris Wickens, Susan Merle. Okay, guys, have a good night. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you if you're around. We have Sunday show at 1 p.m. this Sunday, and I'm going to have Jen Bushman on, so that should be an interesting conversation, and that is live. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye.